Hi friends, good morning. Welcome to the morning show. I'm Jill Cameron, JC, your host. So pleased to be with you all this morning. I'm glad that you're tuning in. I have some great things to tell you about this morning, and then we have a wonderful guest. Our chaplain, Fred Arzola, is here with us to tell us about some fun stories and some things going on for Christmas here at FED. So we'll join him in a few minutes. First, I want to talk to you about the weather. I'm going to be really specific, exactly like the meteorologist on the news would do. It's cold. It is incredibly cold. It's 18 degrees out this morning. I got in my car to rush to work because if you know me, I'm not a morning person at all. And so I needed to be here on time for the morning show, and I walk out not expecting anything different than I encounter every other day. And my windshield is, of course, covered in ice, and I can't find the ice scraper anywhere. My son thinks that it's a garden tool, and so even if I did find it, it would be covered in mud. So here I am scraping my windshield with a Tupperware lid. That's how I was trying to get it clear enough to get here on time for the morning show this morning, and thank goodness between my very effective scraping and my defroster, I was able to make it. So it's chilly. It's about 18 degrees right now outside, and it's going to be chilly all week. Lows in the teens, 20s. Looks like we're going to get some precipitation on Wednesday and on Thursday and Friday. Right now it looks like rain on Thursday and maybe snow on Friday. I'm really praying for snow both times. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Are you? Our wonderful landscape team will be here to clear, and I don't wish them to be here on Christmas, but I adore it when we have some snow on the ground. So that's it for weather this week. I want to tell you about things that are going to be happening. So today we have a couple of fun things going on. First, in the art studio with Ann Vega today is the beginning of a 2-day workshop. It's family portrait drawing. So you're going to bring in perhaps a photo, or you could just do it from memory, but you'll bring in a photo of a family member or family members and try to work on that. I want to show you something here in the art gallery. Mikey, can I do that? Can I show them something over here? Okay, so we're in the art gallery this morning, and we have a wonderful new exhibit by Ohio Plein Air, and I want to show you, we happen to have 2 portraits of our very own Bill Westerman here. And so the reason that happened is because Bill provides leadership to the Central Ohio Plein Air group, and he posed for them for a model for a portrait drawing class. So neither of these portraits are by Bill, but they are of Bill. I thought that was really funny that they were in here for our new exhibit this morning. But anyway, come and draw your family with Ann. Anybody is welcome, experience or no experience, please come. This afternoon there's a concert, 1 o'clock, Doug Fentiman, Rick Moon. So if you remember, Doug provides the piano playing for our birthday celebrations, and he does such a wonderful job. He's a classical pianist. And then we're going to have Rick Moon with us, who is an opera trained singer. And so it's just going to be a really lovely holiday music this afternoon. I hope that you'll come. There is also a cornhole tournament today. So join Mikey and Brandy. He's nodding at me. Yes, join Mikey and Brandywine Fitness to play some cornhole. Perhaps you will be the new champion. Tuesday, we have a trip going to Polaris Mall in the morning. So if you wish to brave some holiday shopping at the mall, I really hope that you'll sign up to do that. You move at your own pace. You go where you like. You'll just have a time and a place to meet the bus. We do have a Wowsitude tour going on tomorrow too, to Vienna, Austria. It's Christmas in Vienna, Austria. A lot of the Wowsitude tours are holiday themed through the first of the year, so we hope you'll take advantage. That one will be live in the Muirfield Room. The 2 o'clock p.m., which is Christmas in Paris, is going to be on channel 1851 and on FED Live, so you can see it there. The other thing I wanted to tell you about on Tuesday is we have an incredible speaker coming. So at 1 o'clock, Nate Hiddle, who is the director of Name, Image, Likeness at The Ohio State University, is going to be joining us to talk about name, image, likeness. He provides support for the college students as they're working through those agreements and those deals. He's going to talk to us some about the history of that and how that came to be and how his position came to be. We're so excited, and we thank Don Trotier for making that connection for us. Right now, there's only about 30 of you signed up, and I would love to fill the room. So I hope you'll think about joining us on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Let's see what else. On Wednesday, Stacy is going to be doing some TED Talks at 11 a.m. about the connections of language. That's going to be really interesting. I hope that you'll join him. You have a chance that afternoon to make holiday lanterns with our wonderful Jean Swemba in the Creative Arts Center at 2 o'clock. Or you can come and hear the Vintage Brass Quintet. And you've heard those wonderful musicians play before. It's going to be really bright and cheery holiday music. I hope that you'll come for that. That evening, we're going to be showing the movie White Christmas. And I don't know about you, but there's just something about a classic Christmas movie that really puts me in the mood for the holiday season. So I would love to see you there. I will be there, and we will enjoy White Christmas together. On Thursday, there is a brilliant game of volleyball in the Muirfield room at 2 o'clock. So we may or may not have made a ridiculous name decision. It's really chair volleyball, but because it's in December and it's Christmas, it's volleyball, which makes it way more cool. So I want you to come. You sit in a chair, so your mobility is not an issue. You come in and sit in a chair. You're going to use your upper body to hit the ball. We just absolutely have a blast when we do that. So please come, even if you've never played. It's so fun. Our wellness team will be providing leadership to that. On Friday, we have a sing-along with Kathy Aldrich. So our wonderful spiritual care committee wanted to do another hymn sing this year, and it just so happened that at the very same time they were thinking about that, I was thinking about a holiday sing-along. So we joined forces. We're going to sing your favorite hymns, your favorite secular tunes. Kathy Aldrich, who knows absolutely every song on the planet by heart, is going to be playing the music. We'll enjoy some refreshments. It's going to be a really lovely kind of finish to the week. I wanted to tell you quickly that Wii Bowling is still accepting signups. So our wellness team is putting together a Wii Bowling League in January. January, February, March. And so we play, if you're not familiar, the Wii is a game console. It connects to the television, and you hold a controller that actually becomes your virtual bowling ball, and you bowl. You can do it from a chair. You can do it from your feet. We partner with staff members. It's so fun. So I really hope that you'll consider that. I think that's all I have to tell you, because Chaplain Fred is going to tell us about the wonderful Christmas and Christmas Eve services going on. I did want to tell you, so my husband and I had a weekend away this weekend. Not a weekend, we had a night away, a date night near Cleveland, and we have not done that at least since Matilda was born. So it's been at least 3 years since we've had a date night. And so we went and saw a concert in Lorraine, which was wonderful. And the kiddos had a sleepover at my mother's house, which was super fun. My family does not do Elf on the Shelf, but my mom decided that we needed to. So she bought an elf that lives at her house to make sure that the children behave when they're at Graham's house, and then the elf on the shelf brings presents. And my mother told them that the elf on the shelf can see them even if they're not at her house. The elf watches all the time between now and Christmas to make sure that folks behave. So we're driving my children home last night. The elf had brought them like little presents all weekend, little silly kinds of things that you would put in a stocking. And so everybody's misbehaving in the car because there are 3 of them, and everybody fights over which song we play, and so-and-so's kicking my seat, and it's all just the regular wonderful stuff that happens in the vehicle. And so they were misbehaving, and I said, you better watch out, because the elf can see, and the elf is going to tell Santa Claus, and he may or may not bring you some presents. And my son said, Mom, that elf is at Graham's house. He can't see through walls, and we live way too far away. Don't worry, it's fine. So I'm in big trouble between now and Christmas, because the elf can't see in my house. And no matter how I tried to convince him, he would not buy it. So the elf lives at Graham's. They're going to save all their wonderful angelic behavior for her, which is really as it should be. So that's okay. I wanted to tell you my little Christmas story. So now I'm so excited. I want to turn it over to our guest, Fred. We have our wonderful chaplain, Fred Arzola, with us this morning, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his Puerto Rican holiday traditions and also what is happening here at the Friendship Village of Dublin on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Thanks so much for being here, Fred.
No, thanks for having me. I really appreciate that. And thank you for inviting me to share about some of our customs.
Yeah.
One of the most important and wonderful Christmas dishes and traditions is the making of pasteles. And you spell that Pasteles, 3 syllables, pasteles. And there's no real equivalent that I am familiar with in American cuisine, but there are 2 major components. First, you have pernil, which is pork shoulder. It's cut into cubes. It's mixed with garlic and peppers and onions and certain Puerto Rican seasonings like sazon and adobo. And so you have this one dish here, right? And you cook that. And then you have this other part of it, which is the making of a masa with real indigenous root vegetables. So it's green bananas, plantains, pumpkin, taro root, right? And it's mixed together in a blender. But the experience is cooking it as a family, right? That's what makes it. So the meal itself is delicious, but cooking it as a family. So I remember on a Saturday, waking up, and it could be a Saturday before Christmas, sometimes maybe the Saturday week before Thanksgiving. And you wake up to the smell of the pork cooking, right? So it's in the apartment, in the air, and then I go to the living room, to the dining room, and I see my mother and my father. And there they have bowls of the masa. And then they have a big bowl or bowls of the pork, right? And you're sitting at the table, and you put kind of like a parchment paper, kind of a wax paper, and then on top you put a banana leaf. So that adds to the flavor. Yeah. And you take one of those big spoons and a scoop of the masa, right? That's been mixed. And then you take a scoop of the pork, you put it right on top, and then you put in some garbanzo beans and some olives, and then that alone is a work of art. But then to fold it, right? There's a certain way you fold it and you envelop it, right? In such a way that it looks kind of like this, like an envelope. And I would encourage you to Google pasteles, and you'll see how they make it and pictures. And then you take some rope, kind of like butcher string, and you wrap it around, and you wrap it this way, okay? And then you make another one, and you put it on top. You wrap that around, and then you freeze it, right? You put it on the side. So suddenly, when it's being made, you see these pasteles kind of growing, right? Yeah. And they're frozen, and then you boil them. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour. Or if it's not frozen, if it's frozen, it takes a little bit longer. But in addition to, like I mentioned, it's not just the flavor, it's so delicious. And the fact that the ingredients are very indigenous, it's the experience of family. So you'll see grandparents and grandchildren, right, wrapping things and working and talking. There'll be Spanish music, some salsa music being played. And so it's really a wonderful thing. So when you eat the pasteles, right? It's almost like, if I could use some religious language, it's almost like you're in communion with your ancestors, right? You're eating a meal that's been passed on from generation to generation. But it's also a dish that you don't see as often.
Yeah.
Kind of with every generation of immigrant, right, that comes. Because it's very labor intensive.
Yeah.
And it requires usually more than one person working on it. But it's just a phenomenal memory I have of that.
So your family made that growing up?
Yeah. My parents, they did all the hard work, but I helped, my sister helped in wrapping it together, and we helped them eat it too also.
There you go. I love that. So if you put them in the freezer, then do you eat them kind of all season, or is there a particular celebration?
That's a great question. So this is usually made for Christmas time. And usually, because you pack them 2 at a time, right, 2 together, and you'll have, 30, 40, 50 packs. And depending on when family comes over, you might use all of them, or sometimes they're used, you could just freeze them and use them in a month or 2 months later, something like that. Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, it's really amazing. But the experience is what makes it so special, and the connection with the culture. And there's another tradition, which is the celebration of the Three Kings, which is on January 6th. This is a tradition that started in Spain, and it became very popular in Puerto Rico. Just like the Christian story of the Three Kings coming to see Jesus. So that's a day that is also a gift-giving day. And sometimes, at least in the past, Christmas was celebrated, but the gifts for children weren't given until January 6th.
Oh.
But, of course, right, then it became where there's almost like a second day of gift giving, right?
Yeah.
So kind of the main gifts are on Christmas Day, and then you give other gifts on January 6th. And in some communities, you'll see a procession of people. So you'll see 3 men dressed up as kings, and then you'll have other members, and you walk through a neighborhood, and it becomes a real community celebration. So that's a very, very popular Christmas time celebration.
I've heard January 6th called Epiphany Day.
Yes.
Are the origins similar?
Yes. So Epiphany is the Christian term for that day, right? So if I could kind of wear my chaplain's hat for a minute. So Christmas Day theologically is when Jesus is born. There are shepherds there, and Mary and Joseph are there. And so traditionally that's understood as God revealing God's self to the Jewish people. Okay, so there's that one Christmas story. Then you have this other Christmas story of the Magi who are following a star, right, to see that there's a Messiah there. Okay, so that's a second story. And the Magi, the 3, they come, and theologically that usually means that's God revealing God's self to the Gentiles, right? So God came to the Jews first, God came to the Gentiles, and so January 6th is the Epiphany, right?
Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
And so, but because of those are the roots of this tradition, the 3 Kings.
Got it.
So the Catholic Church is the largest Christian tradition in the Hispanic community. Pentecostalism is probably the second largest.
Okay.
So there are definitely connections there. That's where it came from.
Fred had no idea that I was going to ask him that question, and that was incredible. I really enjoyed that little bit of history there. I never knew that. That was great.
Good.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what's happening here on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in terms of services.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So on Saturday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, at 4 p.m., we're having a worship service, and it's going to be a festival of 9 lessons and carols, which is, as it sounds, it's a tradition that started in the Anglican Church in England, and we read 9 different passages from Genesis to the birth that tell the story, right, of up to Christmas. and then we sing carols, and then we'll have a brief sermon. But it's just it's a wonderful service of just listening to God's word and listening to these wonderful Christian hymns.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, Christmas Day, at our regular 2:30 service, we have a special guest preacher. I've invited Bishop Fulton Sheen to be with us to deliver the sermon, and he's going to deliver a sermon called The Meaning of Christmas. So I'm very excited about Bishop Sheen being with us.
That's awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah.
So you have two wonderful opportunities to attend a service here over Saturday and Sunday. We really hope that you'll take advantage of that. Even if you don't come regularly, come on that day. We would love to see you. I know that Chaplain Fred would love to see you. So, friends, thank you so much again for joining us this morning. It was so wonderful to see you. I'm going to pretend like I can see you, like I'm sitting in your living room. So it was really lovely just to connect with you this morning. I hope you'll take advantage of some of these things going on this week. If you're traveling, we are wishing you safe travels, and we'll be excited to see you back home after the holiday. Have a wonderful celebration, everybody. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.